What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some big updates when it comes to Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, something that I'm very excited about with this character that we're going to talk about. We finally get details on this mysterious character with a gauntlet firearm and what she does in Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. We've also got a huge classic JRPG coming back after 30 plus years and an impressive Nintendo Switch 2 port of a game that came out back on the PlayStation 5 in 2024, so a lot to get into. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. Okay, let's start off with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. This has been one of the most, I would say, intriguing lead-ups to a brand new Fire Emblem game. A lot of people were very excited when they saw this character dressed in all white, and she does flips, and she has a firearm. It's a gauntlet that takes the shape of a firearm. We've got some more details on her, plus some footage of her other abilities, because it looks like she has like force palm type of stuff too, which you guys will be seeing, which looks awesome. I think this is one of the coolest looking characters that they've ever designed in a Fire Emblem game. That wasn't one of the main protagonists, at least. So her name is Anatolia in the game. This is a girl in white who fights to save her people, known as the Mystical Bride due to her appearance, has a cool or perhaps emotionless personality, which can accidentally anger others. Now, what she does like is hexagram divination, round objects, martial arts training, and I kind of alluded to that because she can do some martial arts. So she's got the firearm and she can beat you up. Now let's get some more details on what she does in the game, or at least the setup for her. So Anatolia runs a fortune-telling shop in Daggerson. She has a reputation for highly accurate fortunes, and there's always a line of people outside her shop. So you have a cutscene here with Theodora and her crew talking to Anatolia and kind of discussing what's happening there with this scene. So very cool to kind of see the setup for her. Fortune telling, Fire Emblem, it's like a match made in heaven at this point when it comes down to it, because there's always somebody that has some type of fortune telling ability. Let's talk about the battle situation with her, because during battle, and it's into long range attacks with her portable firearm Salamander, which is an awesome name, she can also handle close quarters combat, key powered martial arts. Furthermore, she can wield uncommonly seen magic. So that's awesome. She seems like she has so many different things. It seems like they've made her a very strong ally to have on your team, or potentially even foe too, based on what we've seen here just a bit in the game. And yeah, she looks awesome. I love the character design. I love the firearm and martial arts abilities. I always like whenever there's martial arts abilities, like key type of powers in games. I know Romancing Saga has the martial artist, and that's like one of my favorite classes. So this one is like a firearm martial artist in terms of what she can do. So very cool to see all of that. Gameplay looks awesome, of course. But now we have to talk about the commercial viability here, because the Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave Direct passed a major milestone recently, and it's pretty cool to see that. So on the official YouTube page for Nintendo of America, the Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave Direct from August 4th, 2026 has been viewed more than 1 million times. It actually has 1,026,672 views as of the time that I am recording this video, and it's sure to go up. I did a little comparison between this direct and the one for Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that had about 1.6 million, so it's well on its way there. And I'm pretty sure over the course of people picking up the Nintendo Switch 2 and just more games coming out and more people playing Fire Emblem, that those views will go up as more and more people decide whether they want to get the game or not and look up information. Because by far, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave having 1 million plus views is really good. It's really cool to see Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave get so many people watching it, so many eyes locked on. And I think that the previews that we recently got from places like IGN and GameSpot and SkillUp all of them really just did a great job at explaining what makes Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave so good. And I think people then in turn said, okay, well, let me look up more information about it. And then they ran into the Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave Direct, which then in turn gave them more information when it comes to a structured way of the game that Nintendo presented this one. I think it was very clean, it was very well done, everything's kind of labeled, and it showed enough, I would say, cool new things to kind of get a lot of people that maybe weren't interested in it, especially if you play other types of RPGs, like Persona, for example. I think that this one says, okay, wait, hold up. There's some pretty cool stuff in here that I think that I might like. And you've got people that are picking up Switch 2 for the first time. Maybe they didn't have a Switch 1 and they're looking to get into the Fire Emblem franchise. Well, this Fire Emblem Fortunes We've directed a great job of directing them exactly how this game is going to play out when it comes to the basics of combat and positioning and the blaze arts and all the different features that it has in the game. So that's exciting to see that people are watching and paying attention to Fire Emblem this much. Because remember, this franchise was on thin ice, man. It was absolutely going to be completely shuttered, or it was going to take a long break if Fire Emblem Awakening didn't do well. Thankfully, Fire Emblem Awakening did incredible, mainly because of the reviews. Fire Emblem, it's a great game, don't get me wrong. Like, they made the game great too, which helped in turn get the great reviews. But those reviews really convinced so many people to pick up Fire Emblem Awakening. So these positive reviews, when it comes to previews at least first, and of course all of the different footage and media that's getting a lot of positive press, is going to help Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave continue to do great too. So I am expecting it to be a popular game that sells multiple millions of copies as the Switch 2's install base continues to grow. But we need to get into another very impressive game, and that is Stellar Blade Complete Edition for the Nintendo Switch 2. We've got a brand new trailer, we've got a new subtitle with the Complete Edition tag on it. We still don't have a release date, and we don't have whether it's going to be an all-digital release, game key card, or full-on cartridge. We don't know. That's one of the questions that I see quite a bit. They have not detailed that. So we don't know exactly when in 2016 it's coming, and we don't know the format that it's going to be when it comes to game key card versus physical cartridges. But we do have this new trailer, and it looks incredible. Looks like it's running at 60 frames per second. The original trailer on Shift Up's channel, they processed it in like 4K, 60 frames per second. But on Nintendo's own channel, when they uploaded the trailer, they processed it at 1080p 60 frames per second. So I'm confident in thinking that there's probably not going to be any type of real native 4K or anything. Maybe there's an upscaler or something like that, but it's probably going to be more like 1080p or target around 1080p and 60 frames per second target as well. Not saying that it's going to be locked in on that. We have to wait for the full release and kind of see it running and get the tests and everything, but I do think that the target is 60 frames per second, and you can tell that it's the Nintendo Switch 2 version running because the hair kind of distillation a little bit that we saw like in Resident Evil Requiem. They fixed that up a little bit, but we kind of see that a little bit like when it comes to the PS5 or Xbox ports coming over to Switch 2, the hair is a little bit jaggy looking, and I think that's what you see here. But outside of that, when it comes to the models, when it comes to the frame rate, when it comes to pretty much everything else, it's all intact. The geometry, the game, it is the full experience of Stellar Blade that you know and love put on the Nintendo Switch 2. So I think that if you look at everything that they've done with this, and it's the Complete Edition. And the Complete Edition comes with all of the extra DLC, the Nikki stuff, the Nier stuff, all the stuff that they did when it comes to the collaborations and extra content and updates and patches. All of that is on the Nintendo Switch 2 version. I do think this is going to be a good selling version of the game, but there's a lot of other things that happen in this game because I have played through it, and it's a very fun, interesting type of game. Not the strongest story out there, but still an interesting story that will keep you kind of thinking what's going to happen next when it comes to everything here. So I do like the game. I think it's fun. There's a lot of influences in this game. People talk about Bayonetta, people talk about Souls games, people talk about like Sekiro, Nier Automata. Like, there's a lot of different stuff, but it kind of reminds me of all of those kind of put together. A lot more Nier and a lot more Souls or like Sekiro type of gameplay than, like, let's say Bayonetta. But I still feel that it's a very fun game. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great version of the game. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are very happy with this version, and I feel that it's going to do pretty well based off of what we've seen here so far. So we're going to have to wait for the release date and how the format's going to be, but I'm going to be picking it up. I want to see future shift up support. I think they're one of the better developers out there, so it's looking pretty good so far. But what's also looking good, and I would say after 30 plus years, Terranigma. Man, it's finally coming back. I'm very excited about this. We got an announcement of Terranigma for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Switch 1, Switch 2, PS4, and PC. This is the 1995 classic action RPG that never officially got a localization here in the US. It was localized in Europe, and of course in Japan. The game was released from Square Enix in 1995, but they just decided to just leave it alone when it comes to the US. So we never got an official localization, even though the game is in English from its European localization. So pretty crazy there. Now Square Enix is teaming up with Clear River Games. It's a cooperation for both of them to bring this back, and it's going to launch sometime in 2027. So let's talk about this just a bit and where the creators of this and some of the people that are working on it, what they had to say. So for over 30 years, Terranigma has cemented its status as a true undiscovered gem, inaccessible to many gamers in the West and long overdue for its time in the spotlight, said Clear River Games general manager Ali M in a press release. Clear River Games exists to bring titles like these back to a modern gaming audience, and as keen lovers of retro-inspired gaming, we're sure our audience will be as excited as we are to jump into this extraordinary world of Terranigma. Now, the Terranigma character designer and manga artist Kamui Fujiwara added this, quote, 30 years ago, Terranigma was released on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, at long last, it will be available once again on console and PC, digital and physical. It may not be exactly the same as it was back then, but I'm sincerely delighted about making its return to the current gaming environment. During the original's development, I was involved with designing not only the characters, but the world too, and even some of the game settings as well. I hope the themes of God and humanity, creation and destruction, and atmosphere of the world itself resonate with today's players, not as a relic of the past, but as a living, breathing world. This moment has been long awaited, and now it is finally here. I hope you will enjoy it with all your heart, and I absolutely will. I remember seeing Terranigma like in, I think like magazines and things like that, and people talk about it online and screenshots, but thinking, man, I wonder if they're ever going to bring it over, because I loved all of the old school Square Enix RPGs, stuff like Secret of Evermore, Secret of Mana, Illusion of Gaia. Like, I played all of these games back then, and I was wondering, oh, is this one going to come over too? And like, it never did. So it's interesting there. Let's talk a little bit more about Terranigma. Thematic boldness, stunning character design, excellent music, smooth gameplay. Terranigma had it all, except a modern re-release. Now the beloved action JRPG classic is back for the first time since 1995. Here are the key features. Return of the King. In 1995, the two-dimensional Japanese role-playing genre was at its absolute peak, but even among beloved giants of the 16-bit era, Terranigma stands out with its unique world-building, snappy combat, enchanting soundtrack, and stunning graphics. It is truly a masterpiece, yet despite this, the game has never been re-released until now. Pixel perfection. The expressive characters of Terranigma were designed by renowned manga artist Kamui Fujiwara and hand-pixeled to perfection. The game's soundtrack is equally impressive and frequently appears on lists of the best video game music of the 90s. Whether melancholic or upbeat, every track fits the game's themes beautifully. That's true, the soundtrack is awesome. The battle system. Terranigma feels surprisingly fresh, relevant, and fun even today. It features an unusual but highly successful blend of RPG depth and the immediacy of an action game. You always have complete control over Ark, wielding his trusty spear to perform thrusts, jump attacks, dashes, and more. But be careful. Enemies move in real time too. The games developed by Quintet in the 90s were marked by distinct melancholy and reoccurring themes of creation and destruction. Terranigma is their magnum opus, a technical and storytelling powerhouse, and a timeless classic. If you missed it in 1995, this is your chance to experience something truly special. And yes, I did miss it back then. It's great to see it here. They call it the Rebirth trailer, which you guys have been checking out. And I'm very excited to see more information and kind of what's going on with Terranigma in 2027. And digital and physical, we'll see about that. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about a game key card versus an actual physical cartridge, but I think at the bare minimum, we're going to get a Switch 1 version with an upgrade, so there should be at least something on a cartridge for us at the bare minimum, but we'll see about a Switch 2 native version as well. So what do you think about everything that we talked about here? There's a lot of cool RPG stuff and more. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.